Welcome to this demo of DataGrows. I hope by the end of it that you will be convinced that we are the practice management tool that can help your firm grow to new heights, new strengths, and new dreams that you're able to realize. I want to cover some of the benefits of DataGrows before we get started, just to give you an idea of why we were developed and what we stand for in partnership with your firm. First of all, firms come to us with two goals. They want to reduce their stress when it comes to task and deadline management. And secondly, they want to have more control to grow their firms. The problem is they currently have too little time and too many apps, a lot of them requiring excessive manual input and cost. Essentially, all of their toys are all over the playroom with no space to play. That's where we come in. DataGrows is an app that schedules tasks for them based on a single input. Tasks then continue to schedule for future dates. Our app enables automated task management, overviews, and automated timekeeping. The result is less stress, more control, and time to grow and take on new clients. With DataGrows, each toy has a place and there is more space to play. I want to cover the benefits of inviting your entire team into DataGrows and making sure that the team adopts the technology to the fullest. When we cover various things in DataGrows, the most important factor is that client deadlines are met. And having each team member invited into the app means that they can be assigned to their tasks with ease and automation, and at a glance immediately see which tasks they are responsible for, where they've missed a few deadlines, and which ones are coming up. And this really allows each person to take ownership of their tasks, of the clients that they are entrusted with, as well as give you the oversight of their efficiency, whether or not they're coping, if they're overloaded, and really make sure that each team member is profitable for the firm as a whole. I'm going to cover some getting started tips first of all. On your home page, make sure that you click on the Get Started button. It's not there just for show, but it covers a lot of crucial information to get you going. If you are the owner of the firm or you're going to be responsible for setting it up, please click on the first link over there. Then we cover the importance of importing your clients and their data. We have several ways to do that, which I will cover. Inviting each team member, and then prepping the client data into more detail if you need. To begin with, let's cover our integration partners as a means to get your client data in. Our billing partners include Sage and Xero, whereby we can import your customer list from them within 2 minutes and have that as a starting point for your client base, and then we switch on the services and complete additional information through our upload template. Our latest integration is through SARS. From your e-filing portfolios, you can actually import your taxpayers. It's a great place to actually clean up all of those stagnant taxpayers that are there as well, and use that as an onboarding tool to get your client base going. Each of these sections in the Get Started link have a video that explain how to do it, but please reach out to us on support if you need any assistance. And then our Excel template is done best through the app itself. It's actually generated from your database. If you are an existing DataGrows user and you have clients that you'd like to update in bulk, this will also be the method to use. And you will see on your table that you will start with no records in the data upload table. To begin with, make sure that you click on Add Record, choose the client and applicable firm, and then you can click Save and close that record. Now, we encourage you to invite all of your team members as the very first step. And by doing so, when you generate your data upload, you can then simply check the checkbox of the record that we've just saved, go to Actions and click Generate Excel. That will create records for all the firms you've created under firm settings, and our soon to be released rates upload will also be created there. Just give it a second, and if you don't see a file to download, refresh the page and click on the document, the download button over there. That generates this file for you, and although my database already has client details in, yours will simply load like this one with all your team members' names exactly the way that you've invited them in DataGrows to prevent any issues when importing later. And so we do encourage you to download that there. Based on your onboarding process with us, you might have clients added through the Xero or Saved integration or SARS integration. And it is at this point that you will then work through this spreadsheet and complete all of the missing information, assign your team members who are now dropped down in this Excel because we generated it, and then switch on all of the services that you need to complete for these clients. Remember to make use of freeze panes by changing the view so that you can see the name when you scroll to the right, and then go through each of the services, and a reminder that these are the ones that will automate the tasks in DataGrows, automate those accounting deadlines that we're so reliant on completing, and by switching them on for your clients, the tasks will schedule when the data upload is complete. Another important reason to onboard your team is that each of them, when they're invited, the next day will have access to the My Training database. This is there for each person to really get the most out of their DataGrows experience, and also to ensure that they understand the features that are available and how to use them. To begin with, each user will click on My Training and go to My Modules. These are short 2 to 3 minute videos that we have compiled. If you click on the first one, and you don't have to complete them in sequence, but if you click on the first one, this will explain the training database to you. You can watch the video there. And then similar to a CPD, we have multiple choice questions here to reinforce the learning that you've just watched in the video. It also helps us to see how far you've completed the training, because as management, you will be able to access a report called My Training that shows you the completion of each of your team members in the My Training and when last they completed their last module. This means that no one is walking into DataGrows completely unawares, and there's very little risk then that they will mess up data accidentally because they're not sure what a particular button or table does. Next in our demo, I want to cover a little bit of the interface. We have some basic customizations that you can do. And when I display it on one table, this is transferable to every table in DataGrows, so every menu option over here. To begin with, your menu is on the left. Where a contraction is displayed, there are then tables contained therein. And as far as user access is concerned, when the section or table is switched off, then the heading will go away as well. In terms of your basic customization, you can hide your menu at any time and simply access it from that button over there. you have the ability in every table by clicking on columns to manage which columns are visible or not. The clients table, for example, has more than 80 columns in it alone. It's quite comprehensive, but as a table view can be very overwhelming if you only search for certain things. So make sure that you customize these tables to work for you so that when you are accessing them, you're not scrolling and getting frustrated looking for the information. The other thing you have the ability to do in every table is to pin columns. You'll see here that very similar to an Excel freeze pane section, I'm able to pin a column and then scroll further on in the table and still see the values. But unlike Excel, you have the ability to pin multiple random columns in DataGrows into that view so that you can see the information and still go and find additional columns. So you can pin and customize and even pin to the right-hand side of your screen if you like to work in that space. So it's completely up to you. You can also sort columns, any kind of column, by clicking on the heading, and it will then sort accordingly. And you are then also able to change the direction, ascending versus descending. And then lastly is the number of rows per page. For frequent task tables, you could easily end up with 200 records in your payroll or accounting tables. So you can set that, and then you navigate between the pages if there's more than one by clicking on the arrow over there. And then our checkboxes are a way to make use of actions. So the actions menu works on a record basis or select all basis. And when you apply a filter and run the select all, it does not go behind the filter. I will show the filters a bit later, but don't forget about the many actions available to help you work quicker and achieve certain things in bulk. And then I will cover some of the fields that are contained in the client details tab. The status is really important for the scheduling of tasks. Make sure that the clients you service are set to active, and we cater for dormant companies as well. And the dormant actually schedules the task with a note to say it's dormant and a null return can be filed. But pending, inactive, and part of ownership structure will not schedule tasks as they refer to either clients part of your beneficial ownership submission, or they're not active at all, or they haven't accepted your quote as yet. So that's what those statuses refer to. Make sure that you assign an entity type for each client. They are referred to in layman's terms in some places, but they are important in terms of the task types that schedule for their tax and things like that. The year end is critical for CIPC registered entities that are allowed to choose their own year end. For all natural persons, we will default that to February for you, and you'll see it on the Excel as well when you choose an individual or natural person entity type. Complete contact information and email addresses to get the most out of our automated email function that I'll show you. And then again, for CIPC registered entities, the registration date is crucial for the CIPC annual return deadline as well as beneficial ownership deadline. And the registration number is important that it's captured correctly so that we can sync it to our CIPC extension that brings through enterprise information. You can then make a comment for each client, set up their billing section, capture their statutory registration numbers, and then we come to the roles and services. These are the same as set up in the Excel in terms of these columns over here, each person, how they're responsible for servicing the client. And then the services can be done in the Excel upload and at any time customized for an individual client inside their record. For example, if they hit the R1 million mark, and need to become VAT registered, you can then come and select their VAT service. When you switch on a new service in DataGrows or do the data upload, all of these tasks that you've switched on trigger for the next due date for that client automatically in DataGrows, and there's nothing more that you need to do in order to get those task reminders. You simply switch them on, click save, and they will schedule accordingly. Now, speaking of those services that have switched on, we've assigned our team to every client, and in our all tasks due detail, it's really a great place for each accountant to familiarize themselves with the content, and really they can complete their entire task from this table without leaving it at all. So if we have a look at this particular set of details here, we have the client, the accountant, the name of the task that's been scheduled. In a lot of cases, these are automated tasks, and in other cases, these were manual or ad hoc tasks added in order to fill the service required by the client. I will show you some of our manual tables later on in the demo, but these are all the tasks assigned to clients and accountants in DataGrows. Then our due column covers the due dates of the task. That is, of course, the focus of every accountant is to meet the deadlines before penalties and things like that are incurred. And you can see here from my database that there's quite a few missed deadlines for various team members, and hopefully there are notes to substantiate that or progress selections to substantiate that. But it's clear that there's a lot of cleanup that needs to happen. And again, in DataGrows, we don't believe in working hard. So if I know that we have actually kept up with all of this work, and in discussion as a team, we want to do a bit of a cleanup, we can do that in bulk, as I said earlier, using checkboxes and actions to then go and clean up that task list. But back to our due dates here. Any task marked in pink is seen as overdue or due today. Anything marked in yellow is due in the next 7 days. And so really this is my focus. I can't really start doing payroll yet. I might be able to do some VAT returns we're normally still busy with by this time of the month. So your focus is those colored due dates over there, and then completing them in DataGrows. In terms of completing a task, and the full scope of that involves logging your time, if that applies in your firm, and making sure that the full process has been met. If we look at something like these payrolls done or set for due dates middle of the month, I can in DataGrows log my time by simply clicking on the task in the All Tasks Due detail and pushing play on that play button. That then logs my time for the client and that task, and you'll see if I hover over it, it shows me which client and task I'm working on. And then notes can be made to help me keep track of progress or any additional issues or comments that need to be made on this particular task. In my own firm, we used this substantially to keep track of any reason why the invoicing would be higher for this month. Let's say, for example, 20 new staff came on board. That normally adds quite a bit of time to the payroll, or significant changes like increases in bonuses come into play. So the notes field can be however you want to use it. If you want to log a date and an initial when you do it, that's also fine. It's really up to you how your team adopts it, but they are so crucial to be able to come back to the specific period on a client and not have to filter through emails and documents when it's all contained in one place. I might say something here like, if applicable, I would put that note over there. And if I save that note while I'm timing, and then I'm done with the task and push stop, the time log record has already been created for me for that task. The start and end time is noted. the note that I made while I was timing pulled through, and then the duration is calculated for me. It's really quick and easy to log your time for any task in DataGrows. Then, if you need to make additional notes or workflows on a particular task, you can go to the detailed task table from the all tasks due detail by clicking on the link in that row. That will take you to the payroll table, because if this was a payroll task, as well as filter for you automatically so that you're not overwhelmed by all of the additional tasks that are already in this table. And then you will see that for each task table, we've created special workflows that help you to keep track of your progress and whether or not they are completed, and then the task is done. There are also special progress drop-downs in every task. Some of them are more custom to help you, like financials is quite detailed. And by making these progress selections and checking these checkboxes, you are giving your brain a bit of rest so that it doesn't have to remember every progress of every single task that you're currently busy with. And you don't need to write down the notes if they are contained in a checkbox. It's simply make a click and click save. And when you access it again, you know exactly how far you are with every task. And it will be there waiting for you when you're done. The workflows are so important to make use of, and it really is a stress reliever in terms of the amount of information that we need to remember. The other thing is that from this table, when you are done with a record, you can archive it or mark it as complete. In DataGrows, that means that you're changing the status of a task to completed. From the all tasks due detail, as I showed when I cleaned up some of the records, it's as easy as checking the checkbox and saying mark complete. If you're done, you've gone through to your checkboxes or not, depending on your adoption of them, you can then stay in one place, see all of your tasks, mark them as complete, and you've logged your time automatically as well. So this table is really useful in terms of not being distracted by administration and maintenance of an application. You can see everything you need to do right here in DataGrows and not have to leave a single table. The other way that we present these deadlines to you is in a report. It's live in DataGrows. It's called your to-do list for the next 30 days. But it's also emailed to every user every Monday morning. And this gives you a 30-day snapshot of the tasks coming up, as well as any that you might have missed. And you can then expand on your name to see a grid-like summary of those tasks per the tasks tables. And if you go to a little bit more detail, you'll be able to then expand on the various frequencies and see the progress selection, the accountant, partner, and manager assigned, the name of the task, the client, as well as any notes made on those tasks. This is a really great Monday morning email report that comes out so that you can plan your week ahead. As I navigate through DataGrows, I'm going to show you some of our filter and easy steps to get the most out of it. But the filter function is great because you're able to search on any column within a table and to give a equals or contains kind of search, but you're also able to filter on multiple columns. In our all tasks due, if for example, I want to have a look at only my tasks for the 1st of November to today to make sure that I haven't missed anything crucial like EMP 201s that contain penalties and even CIPC annual returns. From the filter, you're able to get a detailed view of who it is or what it is you're looking for and you can change it at any time after you've applied it by simply coming into the applied filter and changing it. But what's really cool is that you can actually save the filters. So in various places, you might have things that you're constantly searching for, like each team member's name under the all tasks view detail. Here, I will go and look for things like each accountant's name, but instead of searching for it every month, I want to give it a title, make sure the entire team can see it by checking global preference and clicking save and apply. That then saves it as a filter so that I can easily access everyone's tasks by simply clicking on those saved filters. And the combination and amounts of filters that you can save is completely endless and really helpful to get great and quick information. Here you can see I have 2 personalities, which is why there's 2 Mariskas there, but you can then see all of the tasks that I need to do. I can sort them via due dates and really get a good understanding of all the tasks assigned to me and whether or not any of these have incurred penalties because they're clearly very overdue. Make sure that you know how to use our filters, and I would encourage you to click on the little help button there. If you're unsure or if you forget, then the help icon will show you exactly how to apply the filter that I just did. The next feature I want to cover is based off of SARS related submissions that could trigger a verification. Think of a VAT refund or even a VAT payment nowadays. Even EMP 501s that have triggered verifications. They're incredibly admin intensive to track, but they can be very costly for a client if we drop the ball. DataGrows has created a special module to help you keep track of every verification and do so with ease. If we use our VAT returns as an example, let's say that we were able to submit this VAT return by the 13th of November, and we've gone through our workflow, and perhaps it was a refund. I can indicate that amount over there as well. Then we've saved the record and we get the dreaded letter from SARS. If you come back to the VAT returns, you can check the checkbox for verification on this client for the period of October. When you click save, this pop-up will show and a SARS task has been created. The SARS tasks table is found under the tax department for the SARS tasks, and by checking that checkbox, this table now has the verification task created for the client that I was working on for the period that I just submitted. It brings through the accountant who was assigned on the task, and it triggers an internal due date 7 days from today, reminding Yapi that he has supporting documents he needs to submit to SARS in order to not get that repeat reminder email that the client gets sent as well. So that internal due date is now also on his all tasks due detail, and if we use our filter here, you'll see a SARS internal due date is due within the next 7 days for that VAT return verification for that client. And so again, he doesn't really need to access the SARS tasks table because it's pulled through here for him. Now, by using that verification checkbox, we've pulled through a lot of crucial information to make sure that this part gets done correctly. We have our period, we have our accountant, and the kind of task that it is. You can then store your case number here that came on your verification letter so that when you're calling SARS, you can escalate correctly. And if you need an appointment for any kind of SARS task, you can save a date over here. Let's say by some miracle, I managed to get one on Monday. When you click save, you can then get a reminder of your appointments as well so that you don't miss those very rare moments where you're actually able to get one. Now, on our SARS tasks table, if we have a look at a verification, Then we've listed under the subtasks table the required supporting documents that need to be compiled for this kind of SARS task. And so again, it helps the user that they don't have to remember every single thing. But not only that, you can use this as a checkbox and checklist for when you've received everything, so that when your list is full and things that are not applicable, you can mark as such in your notes. Then you know that only then can you submit to SARS. It's a great way to remember exactly what SARS needs for various transactions, but also to keep track of which ones you've received versus not. And then when you've compiled all of the supporting documents, let me just get back to my example, and you upload them to SARS, let's say we managed to compile everything today already, and when you click save, the due date is then calculated as the prescribed turnaround time that SARS says they should respond in working days. Now, I hope you can hear the sarcasm there, but should respond, or when we will inevitably call the call center to find out why we've not received a response as yet. This allows you to then not have to take out your calendar, try and calculate it, make sure that you get every weekend day and public holiday, but then also that when you are calling that call center, you're calling tasks that have already prescribed, and you're not calling too soon for them to tell you after 2 hours of waiting and horrible call center music that you've called 7 days or 8 days too early. This really helps you to keep track of everything on hold with SARS and to hold them accountable to that turnaround time that they're supposed to stick to. Anything SARS related in terms of a task that deals with a submission will have a verification checkbox where you can trigger that verification task, and you'll see the pop-up again every time. And for each of them, we've listed the required supporting documents to successfully submit to SARS. And some of them are obviously more comprehensive than others. Public officer, for example, very tedious, very painful. And so we've also given you templates that you can download. These include a blank proof of residence form, director's resolutions, and a link to the SARS online query where you can just go and upload those docs. We've put a lot of care into this particular module because it is so painful to deal with, and you can then track anything to do with SARS by clicking on Add Record and choosing from over 40 tasks from this drop down, and each of them have the prescribed turnaround time and list of supporting documents required to help you and your team to keep track of those tasks. Next, I want to cover some of our manual tables. These are tables that don't have specific frequencies or deadlines that they need to be completed in, but they form part of your value add as an accountant to your clients and even help you keep track of internal tasks within the firm. The first of these is our firm and ad hoc tasks table. This is an easy one to use in terms of automated billing for these kinds of tasks. That's why it is a set drop down, because you can actually set up a rate for that. But this helps you then to quickly choose a task, and our search bar worked really great. You don't have to know what the first letters are of a word in order to search anywhere in DataGrows, but you can easily select the task, assign it to a client if applicable, give it a due date if it is applicable, and then most importantly, log your time and get paid for the work that you've done. Next is the once-off custom tasks table. Here you will add a record and name it anything that you like. So you will give a name to the task, assign it to the client if it's not an internal task. And then for the automated billing purposes, you then just need to tell us, is it a quoted amount or can you connect it to an existing rate? Then this task can also be tracked and custom to the client's needs, but then make sure that you get paid for the work that you've done. Our other manual tables include a Secretarial Module. This allows you to keep track of any changes with CIPC for your clients' companies. Things like company registrations, director detail changes, changing year ends, and anything like that. So you will click on Add Record and choose from the drop downs here. And again, what we've done for you, similar to SARS, is we've listed the required supporting documents to help you not have to remember every single type of transaction that there is. And again, to make use of the checkboxes and actions mark when you've received everything so that you're not emailing half an email. Where possible, we've also given you quick templates to download to make this task that much easier. You can then also keep track of when you lodge the transaction by choosing a date under the uploaded, so that is the lodged date. And then the due date here is the sort of response time that we have to their emails. In most cases, the OTPs nowadays as well. So this really helps you to make sure that you don't have to repeat yourself on CIPC and that you can get this done in a quick amount of time. I did show you the timekeeping function a little bit in our all tasks due detail, but just to cover it again, to log your time is really easy. You simply open a record and push play. When you're done with the task, push stop, and that creates a record in the time log table for you. Now, you are able to do manual timekeeping as well, although it's not recommended, especially not by me. But if you need to, and if you forgot to push play, maybe you were interrupted, maybe you forgot to push play, or maybe you were interrupted, you do have the ability to add manual time in DataGrows by clicking Add Record. You can then assign it to a client if it was client related, choose from the task drop down so that we know where the billing needs to go, and then select yourself as the accountant and then choose your start and end time. By doing so, we calculate the duration for you. You just have to know when you started and stopped and capture it accordingly. You can also edit an existing time log record if your user access allows. So if, for example, you forget to push stop on a task and it runs longer than it needs to, you can come and edit that end time, and then the duration will update accordingly. Then I want to briefly mention that DataGrows, through our integration with Sage and Xero and soon to be QuickBooks, we have the ability to create your invoices based off the time worked and retainers that you set up in DataGrows to then do automated billing into a draft invoice table over here, and they are easily processed into Sage or Xero currently by the check of a checkbox and the push of a button. So the entire billing process is really quick and easy. It goes around reviewing the time that's worked. If we have a look at our time authorized table, reviewing time that is worked, and then making sure that values calculate correctly, you can then authorize the time into a invoice pending state. So changing the action to mark invoice pending. And that will then pull through based on the rates that you've set up for this client, as well as any retainers, into a billing report. This billing report is a way for you to preview, first of all, your monthly retainers. They will always display here, but then also any ad hoc work that's been done, the amount of hours, any period related notes and accountant notes will also pull through. And you can review this and make sure that you're happy with the values that have pulled through, and you're not going to upset the clients if someone's gone and charged them for something they didn't agree on. So make sure that you always review your billing reports. You can see a grand total there of the revenue that you've made. And when you're happy, the billing is as easy as selecting a process to run. If you only want to run the time invoice pending, so your ad hoc work in the middle of the month, you can run the action for generate ad hoc invoices. But if you want to do it at month end for all your retainers, change the action there to process on the generate month end invoice process. And invoices are created within seconds. There you can see today's date. And now I can review them yet again. I can make sure that I'm happy with the totals and check the invoice lines and make changes if I need to. And then again, check the checkboxes of the ones that I'm happy with, or select them all and push them through to my accounting system. It really is that simple. Next, I want to show you our automated emails. These work best if you can integrate with Microsoft 365, meaning that your company, the email domain and licensing that you guys make use of, is registered with Microsoft for an email exchange license. And then what happens with the integration is the emails that go out to the clients, these ones over here, will send from the applicable accountant, the accountant assigned to them, and sit in that accountant's sent box in the email. And so you can actually have a proper mail trail of emails that go out. And then when the client replies, they simply reply directly to their accountant. We really recommend that you make use of the Microsoft integration, and it is explained in the My Training as well as this info section over here. To show you a typical automated email, if we have a look at our please send bank statements email, the body and setup is customizable. So you can change the subject as well as the body of the email, and you can make it as personable and as formatted as you would like. You can change your font, your size, bold, underline, italic, color, all those kinds of things, and really make it something that suits the style of your firm. But what makes these emails great is they can actually send a personalized email to multiple clients for a particular task or reason. So this one in particular covers the requesting of bank statements, and for example, you can say, if that's applicable, you can customize anything to say there. You can also say, please send the monthly work for. And then the way that we've built it is that these square brackets, or as we call them, placeholders, communicate and pull through the client details so that it is a personalized email. So this will address their primary contact, specify their company or trading name, and then the period that we're requesting for. And this one in particular will only go out for periods up until October. We won't ask for monthly work until the month is complete. But you'll see there that it signs off as the accountant and will then go out as per the rules set out in this email. Emails are great. You can quite confidently see who will be affected. If you change the action to draw report and click save, a report link will pop up. You can then select all there on the status, click view, and then any successful clients will display in that report if applicable. And if it is blank, then there might be a setup issue on your side. Where emails can be sent, you will then see the list of clients, due dates of their tasks, their email address, the accountants assigned to them, and whether or not the email will send successfully. So the goal of the draw report action is to show you whether or not those clients should be emailed. You can double check it, exclude them if you need to, and then send out those emails. You can also change the action to test emails, and that will send you the first successful email on the list and show you all of the placeholders that have been completed, and you can make adjustments if you need to. And then when you're happy, you can change the action to send emails, and that will email those clients according to the contact information. You can also schedule emails to go out automatically, and do this obviously under advisement that the tasks will need to be kept clean so that you don't email clients when they've already done what you've asked them to do in the email. But it is great for things like a birthdays email that you can send out every single day for all your natural persons to get a personalized happy birthday from you. We do have a module that covers the progress of an audit. There are information available about that, but we will not cover that in the demo today. Another demo that I want to show you is our document template function. This is going to grow substantially over the next few months. I'm hoping to get all kinds of resolutions and letters populated here. But the first one that we've created is an engagement letter. And it is a Word document. You'll download the template over there. And then you have the ability to edit this entire document. It is quite comprehensive and laid out quite nicely, but you have the ability to customize the entire document if you so choose. And in order to make this an auto-fill document, we've put again the placeholders that you'll remember from the automated emails. And so in that way, although you can customize this document, be aware of the placeholders that we put in here so that when you run the documents against a client, it will populate the information that you need. If you'd like a list of these placeholders to add additional, please let us know and we will add to them. Once you're happy, save your template, and then you will remove the document template that you downloaded and upload the one that you've just worked on. And then you can also customize again your email body similar to the automated emails. Then if you come to send documents, you can click add record, choose the applicable client, choose from the document template, and then you will check their checkbox and click the action email to clients or email to myself, and that will send you a copy. And just a disclaimer there, it is sent as a Word document currently, but we are hoping to have that conversion to PDF done really soon. The next feature to show you is our beneficial ownership. This module helps you to prepare all of the supporting documents required to send and upload on CIPC's website. Now, the CIPC beneficial ownership table shows you the clients, the applicable year and due dates according to their anniversary of registration. And it also contains the supporting documents that have pulled through the auto-populated information. We have a mandate that pulls through your client's information as well as your CIPC customer information. We have the disclosure form, the organogram, that can be as complex as your client needs it to be. There is no limit to how many levels you can build, how many convoluted ownerships there can be, how many types of control there can be. DataGrows caters for them all, and you only have to set it up once, and you simply download the reports each year and maintain changes if necessary. Then we have the beneficial interest register that, although there might be complex levels, pulls each individual up to this client, and you can then declare their ownership and save that report as an upload document as well. And then we have our share register, which is also the security register, and that's captured under your client. And by doing so, you also generate share certificates. So if your clients don't yet have share certificates, when you create the share register in DataGrows, it automatically generates the share certificate, and their information will be completed there with their ownership percentage. You can save it as a PDF and have it signed by the client. For more detail on the beneficial ownership and secretarial module, make sure to visit our resources, which I'll show you later, to go and watch those videos. It's really detailed. It can be complex depending on your client structure, and we want you to be able to succeed in those submissions to CIPC. They're becoming incredibly strict, incredibly clamped down on that. So each declaration has to be accurate and has to be true. Okay, then I want to cover our two newest integrations, which is our integration into CIPC as well as SARS. Please make sure that you go to the resources tab and watch and read through the information that is available here. The CIPC extension, in a nutshell, brings through information into the annual returns table. It covers the current enterprise status, last annual return submitted, customer code, and the year that was submitted. And so this is really helpful if you need to make sure that you've actually submitted an annual return, or when you take on a new client, how much trouble they're actually in. And we'll expand on our capabilities there in the near future as well. And our SARS extension into e-filing covers the importing of taxpayers, as I mentioned right in the beginning, that it is a great way to do your onboarding. But more importantly, and something I'm really proud of that we achieved, is our submission of provisional tax returns in bulk, directly from DataGrows into e-filing. Even better than that, we calculate the tax on companies. So although our form is laid out the same way that an RP6 would be laid out, where you will input the information, when you input the taxable income, we calculate the tax for a company based on the 27% or small business tax rates. And that then helps you to get the most for your clients, get the most accurate submissions in. And the submission to SARS is done through the provisional tax returns table, simply by checking checkboxes again and making use of our bulk actions. There you'll see you can request, save, and file from DataGrows into e-filing, and multiple records can be handled at once. We also have a provisional tax report that pulls through that information that can be sent to your client for approval before you go and file that tax return. So make sure to cover and read through the blog posts, watch the videos, and reach out for help if you get stuck anywhere, or if you just like more information before you go ahead. Lastly, I just want to cover the adding or inviting of your team to DataGrows. If you go to the setup department and click on accountant, you will then be able to click add record, select their name, and it's completely up to you whether you do full name or first name only. It's also dependent on how you want those emails to go out to your clients and various letters to autofill. So do bear that in mind. And then complete their email address. Please make sure you type in correctly so that they do get their invite email. You can then choose their employment status as employed, allocate a license for them, and then choose from various roles. The roles in DataGrows are not the same here as they are in the client's assignment. These ones determine their user access. So please make sure that you understand the difference and that you're able to give everyone the access that they need so that they can succeed in DataGrows. There is an entire section dedicated to explaining the various roles and customization that you can do. make sure that you're comfortable with everyone's access in DataGrows. We then also have the filter on own data, which we recommend for your junior staff who don't necessarily collaborate on multiple clients with other people. This will then mean DataGrows is completely filtered wherever they go to wherever their name is assigned, whether it's the clients or tasks, so that they don't have to fuss with filters in any way. But if someone is in a more managerial position where they collaborate on various clients, make sure that that is left off. I want to remind you of the My Training database that is so crucial. This is obviously a lot of information to cover in an hour, but these videos we've created to help you get the most out of DataGrows, to not be overwhelmed and caught up in too much detail. And so make sure that you come and watch through these videos, and we'll be adding to them very soon as well. And under my demos is links to meetings that you can book. You'll see if you click on the little paperclip here, you get taken to a booking page that asks questions in certain cases. And if you go through those steps, you can then book a time with us to make sure that we're able to help you in a time slot that suits your diary. So it's really useful in that regard. There's not too much back and forth then, and you know you get your dedicated time slot with us. These are all free of charge. Please don't feel like you have to use them sparingly. Obviously, our goal is that you don't spend all of your time online with us, but make sure that you make use of these meeting sessions and reach out to us to get your help and to get going in DataGrows. Then click on the help button over there to also send a direct support inquiry, and you can email us direct at hello@mydatagrows.com or support@mydatagrows.com. And our WhatsApp and telephone number is here as well. We communicate and do support over WhatsApp, and it really works well. So make sure that you make use of all of the channels available to you. Thank you so much for watching this demo. Make sure to reach out to us. We'd love to hear your feedback. We thrive on user suggestions and requests for developments as well. And so if there's anything you're unsure of or that I wasn't able to cover in the demo, please make sure that you do send us an email or WhatsApp so that we can get those questions answered for you or develop the feature where possible. Thank you.